You're all in for a treat now. My final guest on the program is Linda Mercado Greene. She's founder and CEO of Anacostia Organics. She's one of the few 100% black woman-owned medical cannabis dispensary license operators, boy, that's a mouthful, in the country. I spoke with her earlier. Take a listen. It's really worth listening to.
Linda, it's so great to be with you this morning. Listen, I don't know a lot about cannabis dispensaries, and I'm really using this forum that we're doing here today to kind of educate myself as well as our viewers on what the challenges are of moving into this new business. You are, and I just want to remind everyone that you're one of the first 10 Black women to have a dispensary. And we've already talked to a number of people that have talked about the kind of negative dimensions of the criminalization dimensions of marijuana on the Black community. Now we have business opportunities. Tell us why you chose this profession. Tell us what it has been like to be, a leading pioneer in it.
Thank you. It's so good to be with you today. So I like to be challenged, and my background is public relations, government affairs, and I was getting a little monotonous to that. Then I found out DC had legalized cannabis, and it's sparked my interest, and I started looking into it and decided that I wanted this to be the second part of my career at a tender stage of life. And so I really started this quest like in 2013, and I was awarded a license in July 2018 and opened January 2019.
Now, how has business been since you opened?
It's been up and down. I'm very proud that we haven't been open 3 years, and we have a very good, steady clientele of patients. We've advanced so much in the industry with the branding of Anacostia Organics that we do have a lot of media attention as well. DC, unlike other states, accepts medical cards from any state in the United States and any U.S. territory. So with the amount of people that we have coming into our city every day to work or to visit, they are able to get their medications while they are here.
Now, we're talking today to scientists and members of Congress about the future legal scaffolding, the research scaffolding, these other dimensions that are part of your industry, but yet, my sense is that there's still undeveloped elements of it. What would you in business like to see from the federal government and state governments when it comes to science, regulation, and commercial activity? My understanding is you can't even operate with a credit card or checks and bank. I mean, the banking dimension to me sounds really bizarre, but give our viewers a sense of that.
So thank goodness I'm on the board of the United States Cannabis Council, but I've always been politically active long before I got into this. But what we really need is for safe banking to pass so that we can have access to loans, SBA loans, home equity loans, credit cards, anything. But once that license is in your name, your credit is shut down because we're still federally illegal.
And that Safe Banking Act has been sponsored by Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Bennett, and they put it into the National Defense Authorization Act. So we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, you have to operate in an all cash situation, right?
Well, typically when I first started, I did, but then banks got creative. New banks were formed just to handle cannabis. And I found a bank in New Jersey that handles my account, and the cash is deposited there regularly, and I can write checks to my vendors. I can pay my staff through direct deposit, that type of thing. So there are a lot of creative ways. It's very expensive to do it that way. We're charged a heck of a lot more than any other business. And the other thing is that the 280E IRS tax law. So if we were descheduled, as a Schedule 1 drug, if we were descheduled, we would not have to abide by the 280E IRS tax law, which taxes us anywhere from 70 cents to 85 cents of every dollar based on revenue, because we're still federally illegal, and the United States government looks at us as if we're drug lords and money laundering, even though we are sanctioned by our states.
Wow, it just sounds a little bit inconsistent in part. But let me ask you another question. We at the Hill have done a series of forums across all industries, small business, large business, things that about diversity and inclusion. What is happening? What's real? What's not? And what really stands out, Linda, and I'm just going to be honest, is that even in the dispensary network around America, I have friends who have dispensaries in Arkansas. You are a standout as a leading woman and as a leading Black woman. What is happening, and do you see this as an opportunity where many of the non-inclusion practices within business can be corrected in your industry, or do you think it's going in the wrong direction?
No, it's definitely going in the right direction. As a matter of fact, I chair the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Task Force for the U.S. Cannabis Council, and on that task force are the top civil rights leaders like Mark Morial, Derek Johnson, and others. So we are bringing to the awareness of the public and working with those that are multi-state operators and others that to level the playing field, to create support, put minorities in the C-suites, entrepreneurship, internships, and that type of thing. So the timing is right. The barrier is the amount of money that it takes to get a license and to open a business. So there's so many ancillary businesses that operate as normal businesses, and they're the ones that are making all the money, not those of us that are licensees.
Well, Mark Morial is a good friend of mine, for our audience, national president of the National Urban League and former mayor of Louisiana. It's great that you're working with Mark. Let me ask you another question, which is, our audience is that, when I've done an interview already, which is going to run in today's show with Senator John Hickenlooper. And in that, I said, as you kind of look at the story of marijuana in this country, a lot of people use marijuana and did not go to jail. A lot of people who use marijuana from certain communities did go to jail, and the incarceration rates were absolutely outrageous. When you kind of look at the unevenness of the law. And I'd just be interested in your own views about what myths need to be dispelled about marijuana in the Black and brown communities, under low-income communities. What has been your sense of the unevenness of the practice of law around cannabis and marijuana?
Well, when I decided to pursue this, I live in the community that I serve here in historic Anacostia in Washington, D.C., which is a community that has been vastly affected by the war on drugs and a lot of street drugs and a lot of crime. And so the first thing I had to do was educate my community on the medicinal benefits of cannabis and medicinal benefits of legal licensed cannabis, because when you're buying off the street, you don't know what you're getting. It's not lab tested and all of that. And so the educational component is extremely important, but people see the benefits. The plant has been around for thousands and thousands of years, and I'm calling for automatic expungements for everybody nationwide that has been affected by or wrongfully imprisoned, families torn apart, economic issues for being jailed for a plant.
I mean, those are big words. We're going to have to leave it there. But on the expungement issue, what you're saying is, again, looking at the unevenness, we had a lot of people whose lives were torn up for doing exactly the same thing that some kid in another community was doing, or some person, elder, adult, across the board. And I just want to say congratulations to you, Linda Mercado Greene, owner and CEO of Anacostia Organics. I want to get out there and visit you. You're one of my neighbors, so I look forward to seeing you in person.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be great. What an honor. And look forward to doing more on this down the road. So thank you. And thank you for helping to educate people like me. I mean, this is new for me too. I'm typical, I think, of a layperson who's trying to come in and understand this more. Very dependent on folks like you who are living this experience and can help us understand. So thank you, Linda, so much.
Thank you. And I look forward to returning. And I look forward to seeing you at Anacostia Organics.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of our program today. A very big thank you to CPAIR, the Coalition for Cannabis Policy, Education, and Regulation, for its support, and to all of you attendees for joining us. These really great discussions. For any of you who missed the conversations, we're going to have the video from the event up on our website shortly. I'm Steve Clemons. Thank you, and be well.